All right. Yeah. My name is Manoj. I'm today with Smriti, who is a backend engineer in the authorization team, and we will be discussing webhooks for expiring access tokens. It is a new feature that we want to build. All right. Maybe I'll share my screen, and then we can go further. Yeah. 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 So this is the issue that we are looking at. Which is to add webhook notifications for group access tokens, or for expiring group access tokens and project access token. And this is a follow-up from this issue where we have already introduced email notifications to group owners and project owners on expiring access tokens. Yeah, so maybe should we? So my plan was to write out like a simple execution plan and then uh, go and address your MR and see where the gaps are and what we should do about it. And there are also like a few questions that we should think about, which
Okay.
are not there in other webhooks. So yeah. So can we start here? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, yes, we can
Uh,
start it, sir.
All right. Yeah. So I was thinking mainly along the lines of like we will think about like when it should execute and from where it should execute, and then just fill it out and see on basis of code where it should fit. So basically, I will start with so we need to execute it whenever project access token or group access token is about to expire. So yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Actually, yeah, we have a, okay, that's all right. We have a worker in place for that. So,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So the where is a worker that already expires these tokens. Yeah. I think this is yeah, expiring worker. So this
yes.
is personal access tokens expiring worker, where we
Yeah.
already expire the worker, and before that we send out the email to like group owners and project
Yes.
owners like we talked about. And I think this can fit in here correctly because I also thought about whether this can be like a after commit hook or something, but we use update all, so it is not triggering any callbacks. So it should like come before the expiry itself happens. So I think this is a good place. What do you think?
Yeah, I wanted to keep basically all the expiring logic at one place. So
Yeah.
if you already have a worker which is there to expire the tokens, I feel we should put the
Yes.
webhooks
Yes.
also there, so
Okay.
that
Yeah.
it's not like spread out. Tomorrow if you have to make a change, we know that it's webhooks are getting executed.
Yes, that makes sense. I think the actions on expiry or before expiry, like we send out the email. I think this
Mm-hmm.
itself can be moved out to a service later, and then you can also include webhooks like actions on webhook expiry service or something like that, and then you trigger two different things for the expiring access to it. But that can obviously come later. But it will fit somewhere here. So that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So all right. Yeah. And then, so when this happens, so I think the next step would be for each expiring project or group access token, fire a webhook. Is that the idea?
Yes.
All right. So it will be just looping through. So we already have, I think so we are actually doing per user here, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So for every user, we find their personal access token. So like a normal user can have more than one PAT, but
Mm-hmm.
a group access token or a project access token is only like a one-on-one relation. Like it is one project access token user, and it will only have one associated PAT. So we are sure that one PAT will only fire one webhook in the case of project access tokens or group access tokens. In case of users, it is different, but we don't have to care about that because we're only concentrating on that.
Yeah, that's where my confusion was, because this worker is actually working at the user level. So it takes a list of all the paths that belongs to a user and sends a one single notification to the user with the list of the tokens that are going to
Yes,
expire on that
yes,
particular
yes,
day.
yes, yes.
But in case of webhook, we are going to run the same webhook per token like that, right? So
Yes,
if the
yes,
user
yes.
has 5 tokens, we'll be executing the webhook like 5 times.
Yes, but we are not like I said, we are not considering it for like normal users like Manoj or Smriti. We are
Mm-hmm.
considering it for a bot. A bot is only associated to one project at a time, so we can be sure
Yes,
that it will only trigger one at a time.
yes, yes.
But
Only for
even
that.
if you look at the
Oh,
email,
yeah.
it is yeah. Even the email, even if you take it takes the user as an input, it is trying to figure out like who is the uh, for example, if you see here.
Yeah, so bot ideally should have only one token associated to it, so it's
Yes,
actually
yes,
doesn't matter. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I
I just do
I
this.
am trying to I oh
But
sorry I'm looking at the wrong email, sorry. Yeah, so I was looking at how emails for bot users are sent. So yeah, so here what we try to do is yeah, we take the bot user, but from the bot user we are trying to figure out who is the owner of that project or group, and
mm-hmm.
those are the recipients, not the user of the like the not the bot user itself. Because if you send an email to the bot user, it is like and like an
They're
invalid email
useless.
or yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no mailbox associated with it. So internally, we are figuring out who is the owner of this project or group, and then we are sending emails to them. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we follow the same rule, but it's not an email, so it will not go to the owner, but it will go to the predefined webhook on the group level or the project level.
Yeah. So for but for each bot user, we are sending one email. So the owner is going to receive like 5 emails if there are like 5 bot users because there are 5 different users with 5 tokens.
Yes, if a group has 5 bot users and it is expiring, one owner will get 5 emails, but there could be multiple owners, so it would be like multiple owners into 5.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, so that is also sorted. Fire a webhook. Yes, and where should the webhooks reside? What data is fired? How to build this data? Yeah, so I think these are the considerations. So webhook execution result. Yeah. So I think this is pretty straightforward. So a webhook. So we are associating different webhooks at the project and group level. So ideally, any call should be like project.execute hooks
Mm-hmm.
with the data that we build, and
Mm-hmm.
then the hook scope, which here it will be like access tokens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So or like it will be the group that owns
Group that is.
the yeah the resource access token and then
Mm-hmm.
execute. Yeah, so this will be the same. I think we have already have patterns around this, so this is kind of taken care of. So the only thing that we have to build is the data, and I think your MR also does that already. You have built the
Exactly.
data, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
for hooks you're building the data here, and for the entire thing itself you are uh, I think somewhere around here. Yeah. So you're building all the data here, but I'm not sure if the yeah. So the execution should not be. Yeah, we can discuss that later. Yeah, but you're building the data correctly. But one point I had to address is after looking at the code is so I think this is the first webhook around access tokens altogether, right? There is
Yes.
no yeah.
No, there
Okay,
is.
so yeah. So in that case, what we should do is there is already a so the event type should differ because right now we are doing expiring access tokens or
Yes.
expiring resource access tokens, but
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow we might have a webhook for creation of access tokens, and the builder would be same.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that should change is event, because otherwise the consumer cannot identify, hey, is this expiring or is this creating a new access token. So make sure that the event type is addressed as such. So when you build it, you can have multiple yeah, you pass in an action explicitly, and then it should be part of the data. One example I can show is the group member builder. Yeah. Yeah, so this is obviously like for group members, group member webhooks. But the only thing we change here is events,
Event name.
event name. Yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
based on what we pass, it will like it is added or removed. So it is very easy for the consumer to identify what's happening. So I think that needs to be the case in our webhook as well.
So these events are some predefined events somewhere?
No, so I think it is only part of documentation. Like in the
Okay.
documentation, we say that when user is added to group, you get an event named user add to group. So
Understood.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's not like codified or anything, but via documentation, we let consumers know that, hey, this is what we should expect.
Got it.
Make more event specific to access for connector. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the build logic is right. So there is nothing much to do there. This is the pattern that we already follow in other builders, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes, that should be fine then. All right. Yes. Okay. And what was the next question? What data is fired? So this is already done. Data on the builder is fired. So this part is already taken care of. Yeah. So yes. So I think this is the basic outline to like look at any webhook, and we are almost there. I think the part where this is fired and what all should be fired is the only part that's missing from the MR. So we can look at that. Yeah, the to-do part was we already discussed. Like it should appear in the UI, so there is need for change in the partials, but that's easy to figure out.
Okay. Yeah. It's just a change in one of the forms, I think.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I know it's not that difficult initially.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, but a few questions I had is something like this. So my first question is for groups. So groups already have ancestors, and my question was whether, like, say your parent is also subscribing to access token webhooks. You are the subordinate is also the subgroup is also subscribing to it. So should we fire like two different webhooks? Like basically, should we go up the ancestry and check who all have subscribed to access token webhooks and then fire it? Because I think that is, I am sure that that is what we do today for group members. So when a member is added on the subgroup, the parent also gets a webhook if they have subscribed specifically. Like parent and children can both subscribe to very different things, but if the parent has also subscribed to the same thing, then the parent also should get it. That is what we do currently. I think I don't know if that is also the requirement with North.
Okay. So currently, um, a group has subscribed to a webhook event.
Yeah.
So, for example, if the parent has subscribed to the webhook event,
Yeah.
we are thinking whether the subgroup should also get the notification also, or should get executed for the subgroup also.
I think better understood through code. So I was looking at it
Yes,
today.
yes.
Yeah. So this is on a group at EE. So I think group webhooks are only like enterprise edition. So it will appear in EE. One second.
It's already
Yeah.
executing for all the.
Yes. Yeah. So that is what I was looking at. So when you call group of execute hooks with some data in the hook scope, it is actually looking at all self and ancestors, which will also include ancestors, and then among all ancestors, it will find any ancestor that has subscribed to your hook, which is the access token hook, and then it will execute for everything. So this is the current scenario. I am not sure if you want that for access tokens. I mean, I don't see any problem with having that, but maybe it is something for you to discuss with product. Yeah. But by default, it will include all ancestors who have the same thing. Yes.
But the ancestor should have registered for the hook, right? They should have.
Yes. If they have registered for the hook, so that is what hooks for us. It is not
Yes,
like
yes, yes,
looping
yes.
through everything and then blindly doing it. But any parent who has subscribed to the same thing, they will get the same hook.
Okay. But the access token might belong to one group, but all the ancestors will be, if they have actually registered to that event, then all the ancestors will get the email.
Yes.
Oh,
All the
not the
ancestors will
event,
get to
sorry.
the webhook. But even
Yes,
the
yes.
ancestor can filter out based on the data that you have. Like they can check if the
Mm-hmm.
group ID is the same as their ID. It will be different, so they can understand that it is coming from a subgroup. So that all that's fine. But this is how group webhooks are designed. But it is also different from project webhooks, where project webhooks are not fired to ancestors. It is only fired to the project level. So that
Okay.
is some difference that you should keep in mind.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will, I will talk to this, I talk about this to the project, but I think just for one webhook event, we should not make an exception because that's how the webhooks have always been
Yeah.
behaving. So they might
Yes.
think that what's going wrong here? Why
Yeah, but
only?
I don't think that's like it's a case of always been behaving, because I remember we wrote it for group member webhooks, and
Yes.
for a group member it is like ideal that you send the information to the parent also, because there could be some like compliance issues where nobody should be adding a member directly to the subgroup. So this helps out sort the compliance issue. But you could have the same compliance angle to access tokens also. Like the parent
That's true.
should know
That
which
the
access
token is expiring.
token is expiring in the children. So it makes sense in a way. So it is up to the product
I'll
to
at
decide.
least mention this if there is some what are the inputs, I'll let you know about this. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So then the next question was about like rate limiting sort of, because uh, so the worker that we are looking at, it is expiring like thousands of tokens at once, because it is like at least per user it is 100 tokens, but overall it is say if 10,000 tokens are expiring on that day, it will actually expire 10,000 tokens in one go. Which is why I was thinking about whether we should like delay webhook firing, because if you fire 10,000 at one go, it is like can be like a big load on the system. So that is why I asked in the Slack channel of import and integrate group whether we can, like, there is no, I don't see a case
No, I
where we have
think,
already done that.
but I think, Manoj, in the expiring worker, the max token it's taking as 100 itself.
Uh,
Mm.
no, 100 is per user,
Per user it is.
because
Yeah.
but
But
we
it
only
might be
have
thousands over
one
there.
per user, but that's not a problem. But
Mm-hmm.
even if it is like one per user, if there are 10,000 bot tokens expiring on that day, it is 10,000 webhooks in one go. So maybe we could like place it like 1 minute, like 100 in a minute, and then the next 100 in the next minute, so on and so forth. So I don't see that pattern anywhere. So that's why I've asked an import and integrate whether that should be done. Right now, I think we have only cases where one event is triggering maybe like one webhook. This is one event triggering like unbounded number of webhooks. So we should be careful.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good concern.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I am waiting for input from them.
Yeah.
But let's see what we can do there. But otherwise, we are on the right track.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to hear that. I'm just wondering whether this could have been a concern for the notification as well. Because we might be sending out somewhere around hundreds of notifications. But yeah, for the notification, it's like it's per user. So maybe
Yes.
those many notifications are not being sent.
Yeah. That also compresses the amount, like Yeah, but for project access tokens, it is right. Like for the case we talked about, like one user has one token, but if it is 10,000 project access tokens expiring in a day, that is 10,000 emails in one go. But
I'm just
probably,
wondering whether we should have, I mean, just an idea, we should have two different workers, one for the bot user and one for the normal user. That in case of bot,
yes, that is a good idea. If you can split it that way, that also works fine. But yeah, right now we are not like looping differently. So we have to
yeah,
loop differently, like for project access tokens and like bot users and the normal users. But if you can loop it that way,
yeah,
that is very well and good. We can have it happening in like two different slots of time also, so that we don't fire too much in one go. Like it can happen at
yes,
7 a.m. and then at 12 p.m. or something like that.
yeah. I will probably see that. Maybe I can make that change first, and then the bot user worker we can execute the webhook token.
Yes.
Or
There is
sorry,
also
webhook.
a chance for you to do it like split the work into like webhooks for project access tokens and webhook for group access tokens. You don't necessarily have to do it together because that will be a lot of work as well. Because for the email
Okay.
it was easier, but for
Mm-hmm.
project access tokens it is like a bit more work to like coordinate between both projects and groups. So even if
Mm-hmm.
you want to do it just project today, that is also fine. That is a good way of splitting up your work. It
Okay.
will be too much to review as well. This is also
Yeah,
yeah,
I understood. Yeah, the MR, yeah, I understood.
will
I
be
will do
long.
that.
Yeah,
Probably I should reduce the scope of this MR. I'll do that, yeah.
You can reduce
Makes
the scope
sense.
that way. Yeah, that is also nice.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. I think I have questions to almost everything. I'll raise this doubt on the issue
yeah,
about
okay.
the ancestors,
Yes,
and maybe I will quickly, I'll just see how much work it is to split that worker. If not much, I'll probably split this worker first.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, yeah, it will be cleaner that way, or else it will be like
yeah,
too many if else conditions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Too much of work going on within a if doesn't look
Yes.
very good.
Also,
So.
yeah, also I think it will help you with the error budget because if you do too much work within a worker, then it is going to affect
Mm-hmm.
your budget.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll probably just split the worker first. That's the first thing I'll do today.
Yeah, all right,
Okay.
okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
if you have
Thank you.
any questions, maybe you can ask in the doc and then I can answer here or like ping me on Slack or something. That's fine.
I will do that. The
Yes.
only confusion I had is where to execute the webhooks. So we
Yes.
have addressed it. So I'm sorted for now. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. That will happen within the worker whether you split it or not.
Yeah.
But the only like unneeded part I was seeing in this MR is like on notification service because execution should
Yes.
not happen in notification service. It should be like
Yes. Within the
execute hooks is
worker.
already a method on the project or the group, so you find out from the bot which project they belong to. So that is already a method, I think. So we saw for the email, right? So when you look at the email, yeah, this is resource board resource is
Yeah.
pointing to the group or the project. So you
Yes.
execute on that. Yeah. So then it will work. Yeah.
Got it.
So then it's easy. Then we have to just build the data. The execution is taken care of.
Yeah, I actually I got it. I was a bit unclear where to put it. So I
Yeah.
thought maybe so I just kept the
Yes.
execute hooks there. I got it, understood. Thank you. Hello? What happened to the internet? Oh what? Did I lose the internet?
Yeah, you were cut off for a minute. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. Okay, back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we are set for like a draft MR when we
Absolutely.
put. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for
All
your
right.
time, Manoj.
No,
I'll
no
make
problem.
some
No problem.
progress on it.
Yes. Yeah, sure. Thanks,
Okay.
Ravi. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
You too.